Hey guys, welcome back to our YouTube channel Automotive. Today's video is on the top 5 best car scratch removers on the market today. Through extensive research and testing, I've put together a list of options that will meet the needs of different types of buyers. So whether it's price performance or its particular use, we have got you covered. For more information on the products, I have included links in the description box down below which are updated for the best prices. Like the video, comment, and don't forget to subscribe. Now let's get started. In our list, the number 5 product name is Megiar's Quick Car Scratch Remover. Unlike the other systems, the Megiar's Scratch Eraser Kit $23 doesn't come with sandpaper or 2 different grits of drill sponge, and there's only one level of polish. And, as you would guess, that meant we didn't find it was as useful for attacking deeper damage to any car's clear coat. But it also means there's less involved. You clean the area, dab some of the compound onto the drill sponge, and work through the scratch while keeping the drill on at about medium speed. What's pretty heartening, however, is that when we couldn't get a hand application to cut the mustard, the Megiar's kit was generally up to the task, and the process never took more than a few minutes. We found it was also very good at buffing out tiny, hairline scratches, and because it's drill-based, you can work over a larger area more quickly than operating by hand. Since the bottle that comes with the system is a generous 4 ounces, we were able to try it on a bunch of other cars too, like a friend's old MG, his VW, our tester's Honda, and even his old tractor. It shined on each one. That said, we're talking about a $6 difference between this setup and the 3M one, and we'd probably recommend the latter if you've got some pretty deep gouges. Because at that point, you really do need that extra fine sandpaper and to go through both steps of buffing and polishing. As with the 3M, using a drill has drawbacks. It is difficult to get into the crannies of your car's sheet metal, and again, you could end up over buffing a creased edge. Use caution and always work the drill slowly, keep it moving, and don't press too hard. Let the material do the work. If we could change one thing with Megiar's Scratch Eraser Kit, it would be to allow the applicator sponge to be removable from the drill bit, as it is with the 3M system. It's easier to wash and thoroughly clean that way, but as it is, this is a very good value that gave us great results. In our list, the number 4 product name is Shine Armor Revive Scratch Repair. Shine Armor Revive Scratch Repair $8 attacks swirl marks left by car washes and door handle fingernail micro scratches. Like all of the hand application polishers we tested, the game plan is very simple. Make sure the surface is clean and dry and cool. Add a very small amount to a clean, dry microfiber towel, and apply medium to hard pressure as you spread the polish around and rub. We were consistently impressed with this product. It removes surface scratches from the clear coats of several different cars, and we felt like the restoration value of what we saw, even with a haggard paint job, like on my old Honda, was pretty impressive. After fixing up the door handle of a friend's VW which had pretty bad fingernail scratches, he went after scratches all over his car. Spoiler alert, no. He couldn't miraculously restore rock chips that went all the way through to bare metal on the edge of his car's hood. Another reason to like Shine Armor Revive Scratch Repair was that it left less residue than competing brands. We were able to just keep polishing, and it left virtually nothing behind once we were done. Several of the others required coming back and really rubbing away the remaining dust, or you'd have swirls left by the compound that were nearly as hard to remove as the scratches themselves. In our list, the number 3 product name is 3M Scratch Removal System. No other scratch remover we tested came close to the 3M Scratch Removal System $30 when it came to buffing out deeper scratches. But the process is pretty involved, and you must be careful with step 1. Why? Because you're going to sand the paint of your car, and if you apply too much pressure, you'll do lasting damage. This first stage, however, is meant to sand the scratch out of the clear coat, and you're going to make that whole area around that scratch look dull. Next, you use the compounding pad fitted to your drill and dab it with a bit of rubbing compound. Swirl this around using an up-down side-to-side series of motions until you don't see any evidence of the mark remaining. Then rub off the remaining compound with a dry cloth. Next, change the applicator to the polisher pad and switch to the polishing compound. Repeat the same motion and remove any residue once you've achieved a decent shine. Depending on the depth and scale of the scratch, the entire process could take 30 minutes or longer. Still, we love this system because it really worked, even if it's overkill for a minor fingernail scratch on a door handle or some swirl marks caused by the plastic brushes of a car wash. We tested this system on several scratches on a few cars. 2 cars had paint from door and bumper taps from other cars, which sanded off easily. The underlying scratches weren't through the clear coat on one, and definitely right through on another. More minor scuffs were easy to remove entirely with sanding. There are a few downsides to the 3M scratch removal system. Obviously, it costs a bit more than the compounds alone. You need an electric drill too, and that means you can't easily access some folds in the car's skin. Additionally, you can inadvertently find yourself buffing right on an edge and burning through the clear coat too easily. The only other failing is that the 2 compounds come in dinky, 1-ounce envelopes that cannot be resealed. 3M does sell these fluids separately, but it would be great if these came in bottles that could be closed so that the compounds wouldn't dry out. Of note, we also tested the 3M scratch removal system on scratches that couldn't be removed by using any of the rival hand compounds, and very often, we could remove all or most of those imperfections this way. That's a very strong selling point if you've got even just a few blemishes that are deep enough that you can feel them when you run a finger over the surface. In our list, the number 2 product name is Formula 1 Scratch Out. The application of Formula 1 Scratch Out $12 is a little different. Similar to a car wax, you buff it on, let it dry to a haze, then polish it off. As a result, it leaves a bit of a dusty residue that we learned is easier to eliminate if you take a fresh microfiber towel and rub it away. In a cool garage, it was really easy to use, though even after vigorous shaking, it comes out of the bottle more like a melted milkshake than the thicker products here. This means you have to be careful when you squeeze them out. Also, even though our guidance below tells you not to apply to a hot car or one that's been parked outdoors for a while, this stuff is much more temperature sensitive, so be sure to apply to cool metal, or it gets pretty goopy and messy. That said, Formula 1 Scratch Out rocks. We tried it on larger areas that were just scuffed or dull and got excellent results like you would from a car wax, but better. It polished away microfine scratches that go a bit deeper than any wax can tackle. Also, because it's less viscous, it's easier to apply to a big area and go to town polishing. The only negative is chasing away some of the dustiness after polishing, but it's worth it for the results we saw. In our list, the number 1 product name is Carfidant Scratch and Swirl Remover. When we tested the Carfidant Scratch and Swirl Remover $13 on some finer fingernail scratches, it worked decently, but not as well as the polishers we've recommended here. The difference could be down to the applicator sponge, which is very soft and is probably designed to prevent overbuffing and causing damage. Work gently and diligently, and you could take care of very minor blemishes, but Carfidant wasn't as effective, even with several passes. During testing, a scratch we tried to remove using Carfidant wasn't totally removable, so we tried using Shine Armor instead and were able to reduce it to invisibility. Since we were a bit frustrated with Carfidant Scratch and Swirl Remover, we also tried it using a microfiber towel, and it proved a bit more effective, especially with hairline scratches. That begs the question, why are they charging more to include the sponge if the product works better without it? Given that you could get the Meguiar's kit for about the same money, which is a more effective system than any hand-applied choice, we're pretty confident in suggesting alternatives on our list.